Hey, we'll jump right into it. Barberry Mini Maroon. This is in a 2 gallon. This is been one we've carried for a couple of years now. It's a small leaf. You can see there, it's got a little bit smaller leaf, very deep red, almost approaching purple color. Um, very good plant. Got good disease resistance, a black spot. The foliage stays clean all year. Um, it is not certified sterile, but they listed it as sterile. Okay. So, but I don't think we're really going to ship too much in the areas where it has to be sterile. You can talk about it that it is sterile, but don't confuse it with Crimson Cutie. Crimson Cutie is actually certified sterile. So, but being that they've done some breeding and tried to make it so it didn't seed, that's a good deal. But got 800 of those ready to go. Cheyenne Sky grass. So we got a couple grass to show you here. You can see here they're really turning on. You get a little bit of purple with different variations of green color, and then you get that very open plume that has a reddish hint to it. Those plumes will continue to have that color, and then they will fade to brown over time as we get more into fall here. But great plant, highly adaptable, considered a native, not considered invasive at all anywhere. It is a plains type grass, so it's extremely hardy and tough. So it can take a wide range of conditions. So great plant. We got 1,000 of them. Gracilis. This is one that's been around for a very long time. This is more of the traditional plume type grass. You can see here we're still a ways away from it. They're not doing it in the landscape yet either. It usually starts to happen sometime around the second week of September. We start getting some real good plume action going on these. But right now you got really nice foliage, clean. The nice thing about Gracilis, because it has that thin blade, it resists rust very well. So if you ever have somebody that's concerned with rust issues, Gracilis is a great plant to go to. And we have them available in 3s and 2s. Zebra Zebrensis. This is a banded type grass, so it has the horizontal banding on it. I've said this before over the last several weeks. This is the time of year where that banding really stands out. You can see there when you land these will be very impactful. Same as Gracilis. It's several weeks away from starting to plume, but it will plume. It's got a nice plume to it. This is not, don't confuse zebra and little zebra. You got two different ones. This is a big grass, so it gets pretty big. But you can see there we got an excellent crop, and this is in a 2. So this is great size, great value. She's got 400 of them there. Okay, so we got a new plant. So this is Hydrangea Invincible Lace. It's kind of launched this year. This is really kind of a big crop that's coming on. Cheryl was able to put 500 on. So this one in the Invincible series has got some new breeding in it. I really like, you can see there, it's got great habit. It's very tight, compact. The stems are thicker. They're kind of reddish when you get down there and pick in there, but you really never see it because the foliage is so heavy. Because of how we had to can these and the size of liner we had in the spring and yada, yada, yada with the trimming, probably not going to see a bloom for the rest of this year, but we're going to have a really nice clean plant to send. The bloom is pink with open lace flowers, white flowers around the edge. It's a mop type of well, not really a mop, but it's a flat flower. And it is an arborescence. The one thing they do list, I don't know if it's really true or not, but Prue and Winters does list this all the way up into zone 3. So they believe this is extremely hardy. Not sure how they tested that, but it was interesting to see that they really think that you can push this way up north. So I don't know if that means it would die down to the ground and then re-break, or if you could continue to get breaks on the foliage. I'm not sure. But they do list that as all the way up into zone 3. So a new one to talk about. We got, decent numbers. She's able to put 500 now. We have a total of 1,000, so she'll throw another 500 on when they're ready, which will be shortly. And we'll see how this goes. All right, hydrangea Pinky Winky. This is an older one. This has been around for a long time in the Proven Winter scheme. It actually predates Proven Winter. It's a great plant. That's why it continues to be around. Very strong stems for a fast-growing hydrangea. So it gets a nice pink flower. Starts white and then fades to pink. It is not an intense red like Firelight is more that intense red as it changes. But it's a good standby plant. It's a good utility plant, and it gives you color. It's very adaptable, very tough, very hardy, and it's got a proven track record. So that's what's great about this one. Juniper Blue Carpet. So we brought on a series of junipers way back in the day. That probably 20 years ago, probably predating everyone in the sales staff. So, but blue carpet was a great plant. Well, it is a great plant. We brought it back online because there seems to be a resurgent concern with blight in junipers, and people are really wanting that blue color. So this one has excellent blue color. It's a vigorous juniper. It's a spreader. It doesn't hug the ground like blue rug, but it is a spreader. Probably it could get up to, it could spread in an area of probably 5 feet or so. So it can fill an area really fast. We just brought a few on just to kind of test the waters, see what you guys can do with it. There's just been a lot of interest in getting more blue color out there. So see what you can do with it. It is extremely tough, extremely adaptable. This thing can take wet, it can take dry, it can take everything in between. It does prefer full sun, but there's probably a juniper you can push into the shade a little bit. So it's got a lot going for it. At the time, people were still hooked on Tam's juniper and some of the other old ones, and we just couldn't break that mold. But this might be the time to do it. So, Fuzzocarpa Little Devil. So this is in the first edition program, Purple Pot. We grow this one in a 3. It's slightly more aggressive than Tiny Wine, which is a Proven Winner. But it's definitely more dwarf and compact than the standard Physocarpa. You've seen this one around. It will get white blooms on it earlier on in the year, in that late spring kind of period. And then it's really considered kind of, it's not its attribute. It's more the foliage. It's really all about the foliage. You get those nice red stems with red to, kind of more purplish, darker colors in the leaves. So, Lycia glauca conica. So we wanted to show this one here. We got an excellent crop of 48-inch plus 15 gallons. I will tell you that we're getting reports out there that glauca conica are going to be short. It's due to the weather they've been having in Oregon. I would have to say that the majority of glauca conicas in the country are grown out in Oregon, and they had some real brutal heat waves at the wrong time of year when these things were trying to flush. So we're getting reports that there are damage out there on those crops. So if you hear that, make sure you talk about it. We are looking at rolling some more of our 3 gallons and stuff forward. to try to fill that up. We've had a pretty big run on our 3-gallon crop. So I don't think this is going to be a shocker to people that this thing's going to be short. It may be to some, but I can tell from the pull rates we've had and what we've shipped that people are, they're starting to buy more from us and realizing that they're not going to be able to bring any kind of loads in. So this is probably going to be a plant that gets talked a lot about for spring booking. So I will continue to do everything I can to keep these numbers up, but it frustrates me that I have to do anything with this plant. It's really a utility plant. It's not a plant personally I care a lot about, but the market demands it, and we'll do everything we can to support it. So keep your ears open. Harris Mountain Fire. This is an old one with a little bit of selecting in it. I won't even call it breeding, but we worked with a liner supplier and then we brought in a little bit better, and then now we're propagating it in. So this mountain fire is not your grandma's mountain fire. So it's much better disease resistance. And the color's the same, the growth's the same, everything. It's just we worked with a supplier here several years ago that kind of cleaned it up a little bit and did a little bit of selecting out of it. And now we're propagating forward internally from these beautiful plants. So great looking plants, great looking color for this time of year. Usually Pieris, when we go through the heat we're going through, tend to get a little tired. But since we grow them under high tunnel, we do a little bit different care. We can keep them fresh all year. So Bruce Bale Tiger. So this one here is it's a stoneliferous type of plant. So it's gonna travel along under the ground and pop up new parts of it. It doesn't tend to get too much out of hand, but you do have to be careful. It's best to keep it in a kind of a confined area or an area where it's not gonna cause trouble by spreading into other plants. It's not as aggressive as that as true Bruce's sumac is, but it does tend to do that. This is the time of year where it shines. It just has fantastic color. This is an eye catcher. This is one to talk about if somebody's looking for something with interest or something with color. I would definitely talk about this one. And it's going to look great for quite a while here. So it's going to continue to shine through September. So Salix, Akira, and Nishiki, I don't think I have to talk a lot about it. We just wanted to show you we continue to rotate through crops. This is the next crop that we're rotating in. You can see there we have different colorings. Not as much pink is what you'll see in the spring, but there is pink color in there, and so we have the whites, the greens with a little bit of pink. Excellent size, and there's 1,500 of those. Spiro Gold Mound. We're going to rely on Gold Mound here for the rest of the fall more than Double Play Gold. Double Play Gold, we're kind of rotating between the crops. We had to trim some of the flowers off of them. So we'll probably be able to get some back on, but it'll be a little bit later. But, lean on Gold Mound. We got a great looking crop. In 3 gallons, we have 1,400 of them there. You see you got excellent size. Foliage is nice and clean. This time of year, spireas pretty much start winding down on their blooming. So definitely do not promise any kind of blooming on a spirea this time of year. Although we will get sporadic blooms, but it's not something that you would promise. And the last one is Pop Rocks. And we liked it so much, and we got some good comments, some good feedback that we put it into our normal program. You can see here, we got great size in a 2 gallon. Pop Rocks has alpinum breeding in it. So this is a true alpinum type spirea. So extremely tough, can handle droughts very, very well. Most spirea don't like it when it's super, super wet, but they're pretty adaptable. But this one here can really handle drought well, and it will continue to bloom in drought conditions. That was the cool thing about alpinums. That the problem in the past with alpinums is they were pretty much a one-shot wonder, that you get one bloom and then they're done. So with this new breeding from Van Bell, they were able to get excellent repeat blooming on this plant. So this plant blooms, I mean, this is a today photo, and this plant blooms pretty much all year long once spirea start to bloom. Very compact habit, slower grower, but you know, it's still aggressive enough where it's not going to be like a miniature that's going to have trouble. So great plant, great introduction. We think there's really good potential for this out there, you know, to get a real tough plant. And who knows? I mean, this I would definitely put this up against Little Princess. You know, probably would call it better than Little Princess, but see what you can do. Talk it up. All right. Have one other thing. We on the Schmargard 15 gallons, we had to. We've been selling a 54-inch 15 gallon. We're just about out of that. Our new crop is ready. We've gone through a lot of trimming, a lot of leader selecting, a lot of work over the last couple of years to change this program. So this new group that we're putting on will go on as on the 60-inch code at what was, you know, is a higher price for the 60-inch price. So the 54-inch that you have booked are good. You know, we'll continue to ship that 54, but there will be a big difference between that 54 and the 60-inch. Here, you know, we'll be offering that 60-inch. You'll see a big difference in the plant. Very uniform, very tight, single leader. You know, it's just way different than what we've been doing. So a couple of years ago, we started changing this entire program around, and we had to start that process in the liner stage, in the ones and the twos, and by doing bottom selecting. We couldn't quite figure out how to do this, so what we had to do was you actually go to the base of the plant and select it. What we were doing and what others were doing is they were going to the top of the plant and kind of trimming out to get 1 liter, but you actually have to go to the base of the plant early and cut that thing out. And it leaves it just a little hollow for the first year, but then it fills in and then the thing grows up like a spire. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to do going forward for the entire Schmargard program for, you know, whatever 3s, 7s, and 15s and the field. So what I got, any questions?